You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-RADIO-US, 844-723-4687. We live in a country whose government is attempting to steal it from us. The reasons that they are trying to steal it are basically twofold. One, we've been lulled into a false sense of security by the fact that nothing truly damaging happened to the nation until President Obama tried to pass the Affordable Care Act. And Chief Justice John Roberts went through significant torsional twists and turns and various crazy contortionist acrobatics in order to find it constitutional. That was a huge step for the United States into a terrible world from which we need to escape. That was not the first attempt to try to change this country into a politician's playground. That happened with every incremental step away from the Constitution and toward a more all-powerful federal government. A federal government that we have seen that is, in the last few years, to be not a friend of the United States of America. The land of the home of the free, the land of the brave and the home of the free, is not also the home of governmental surveillance on every citizen or every person walking the streets of the United States of America at every given moment, at any time. But that's where we find ourselves. We find ourselves in the thrall of an ever-expanding government that has now seen fit to set aside American citizenship as any kind of cogent factor in the planning of the future of this nation by this government. It is nothing more plain, is nothing more elegant than that. The federal government, as of yesterday, has decided that American citizenship is irrelevant. Now, the President of the United States essentially, I believe, found himself in this position with no one really saying anything about it. No one was really concerned one way or another whether or not there would be a citizenship question on the United States Census. But believe me, if you think for a moment that the opportunity or the political imperative to disassociate the census from the number of American citizens living in this country, if you think that started 3-4 months ago, 2 weeks ago, what have you, you are sorely mistaken. This has been going on for quite some time. And it is one of the reasons why we find an entire political party caring more about the fortunes of illegal aliens than they do about American citizens. Because as far as they're concerned, American citizenry is irrelevant. It's zero. It's nothing. Those of us who are American citizens may, and I'm emphasizing may, have a different viewpoint. When all this came down, I was trying to figure out exactly how I was going to deal with it. Those people who arrogantly say that American citizenship, that the American government, the American experience has progressed beyond something so tawdry as American citizenship, are also the same kind of people that say that proudly proclaiming your American citizenship is racist, jingoistic, xenophobic, racist, jingoistic, xenophobic, racist, jingoistic, xenophobic. Seeking to marginalize those people as some kind of white supremacists. But that is not what's afoot here. All that is for is to shut people like me up. Well, you see, I figured out, maybe close to 20 years ago, that I simply am not a bigot, that I believe in the rule of law, that I believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I believe in the Declaration of Independence, and moreover, I believe in the nation that all of those documents spawned. I also believe that the people who wrote the Federalist, known as the Federalist Papers, that explained everything that their intent involved and everything that they were thinking at the time, I believe that everything we need to know about our federal government is right there. Now, are there things that are not necessarily covered? Yes, there are things that are not necessarily covered. Yes, there are. It's true. But they are few and they are far between, except where the political imperative becomes more important than the law or the Constitution, or more importantly, the Bill of Rights. And to be perfectly honest, just plain reality. Politics is now more important than reality, which is why we see these Kafka-esque garbagings of various institutions of the United States in favor of a political imperative. Well, one of them happened yesterday. The President of the United States is swearing that he didn't cave. He caved. Was he prepared for this? No. Why? Because he was let down by his staff. Why was he let down by his staff? Well, because there are just as many Democrats who want a political playground, what used to be the United States. There are just as many of those people in the Republican Party as there are in the Democrat Party. This is a bipartisan conspiracy. A bipartisan conspiracy to nail the president and the United States and all of us to the wall, the political wall. It's awful and it's terrible. And all I can say is that now we've got a real problem. The president said, well, what he's going to do is he's going to draw on all the databases of all the United States executive agencies and find out how many American citizens there actually are. But that is not official paperwork. It is not the constitutional census that is called for in our founding documents. It is not. This is a serious error. It is one that's going to haunt us. It's one that I spoke about. And I am seriously and profoundly confused and angry that we are here in this particular circumstance. It drives me nuts, in fact. So, where do we stand? What are we doing? Well, we're watching the United States render the citizenry of the United States as irrelevant as far as the government is concerned. And yes, President Trump has a piece of that. Speaking of which, he is speaking at an aerospace plant in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as we speak. Let's dip into some of that coverage from Fox News.
And it was raining. It was, two people said, did I have a tent? Because I looked very dry. I said I wasn't dry and I had no tent. It was a rainy day, but in a way it was a beautiful day. And when those planes and helicopters flew overhead, it was something like we haven't really seen too much lately. There's tremendous spirit and love in our country. That day, the United States Marines soared overhead in a magnificent aircraft like the ones you support from here in Milwaukee, the MV-22 Osprey. Our country also witnessed the awesome might of the U.S. Navy flying another plane that you will soon support, the unstoppable stealth F-35 Lightning II. I get to meet a lot of pilots. I once said to one of the pilots, he looked like Central Casting. He looked like Tom Cruise, but maybe better. Little taller and a little stronger. F-35 Lightning II. And I said, so tell me, how good is the F-35 compared to other planes, enemy craft? He said, well, they have a problem. They can't see it. I said, that sounds good to me, not knowing too much about it. That sounds good. but he said there's nothing like it, and I remembered that was a long time ago now, toward the beginning. In addition, workers at this facility help maintain our massive C-130 Hercules transport planes and our fearsome UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters and our F-16 Fighting Falcons. Right.
The President of the United States speaking in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at an aerospace plant. And if he starts making some news, we will go back to that speech. He made news yesterday with the Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, and Attorney General William Barr. The President caved on the citizenship question in the 2020 census. Now, there are ways to recover. I don't know whether the President will pursue them. As I just said moments ago, Democrats for sure do not want any kind of influence on the government of the United States by American citizens. You see, American citizens are documented. American citizens are easily counted. The demographics of American citizens readily known. Most people don't have any idea what the true percentages of America's demographics actually are. If you want to know just how many people are essentially out of the loop, walk up to somebody you know and ask them what the percentage of black people are in the United States versus white people. And they'll say, well, let's see, they're 30%, so I guess they're 30% of the American experiences are African Americans. Somewhere in that vicinity, usually that's the guess. It's 13%. 13%. If you want to know why they call it political science, keep in mind that very small demographics essentially lead this country around by the nose. Because whenever anybody says, excuse me, but does the majority count for anything in this country? They're immediately branded a racist. If they stick with it, then what ends up happening is that they're excoriated to the measure necessary to get them to shut up. Fortunately, I'm under the radar, I guess. But I do tell the truth. Am I a racist? Hell no. I think racism is a crime against humanity. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's primitive and stupid. No, I'm not a racist. I'm a competitor. I want everybody's best game. That's what I want. I don't care what you look like. I care what you think like. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what you can do, not what you can't do. So here we are in a position where the powers that be believe that American citizenship is valueless. I suppose we've let that happen. We've let that happen with our rather silly ways of electing people to high public office. We've made too many mistakes electing the wrong people too many times for the wrong reasons. And we just found out exactly what that's going to cost us. 10 years of misappropriation of public funding. This gets back to the classic way you destroy a republic. You steal its money. Is that what's happening? You bet it's happening. We're $25 trillion in debt right this minute. $25 trillion in debt. Who spent that money? Why, it was the government of the United States that spent that money. Those evil Democrats? Yeah. And the evil Republicans, too. Remember, the first $5 trillion reorganization of government happened after 2001, a little thing called 9/11. Everybody said, gosh, maybe we ought to do something about this. Maybe we ought to try to get something done, and the Patriot Act was born. The cynical abuse of the American people was given a glimpse when Rahm Emanuel said, you never let a good disaster go unexploited. And then, of course, the first 2 years of the Obama administration, $5.3 trillion worth of spending, thanks to Democrats in the House and Senate of the presidency. I'm not bitter about the fact that they did all that spending. I mean, I'm angry about it, sure. But at least the Democrat Party knows what to do when you have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. You move forward with your political agenda. That's what you do. What do the Republicans do? Nothing. Nothing at all. And we've got proof. And the president's not real happy about it either. He said something to someone about that, and I'm going to tell you about that next. This is the Wells Report.
This message is brought to you by Woot.com, an Amazon company. Holy crap! Woot.com is turning 15? That's right. The site that brings you ridiculously good deals on stuff you need and stuff you didn't know you needed is celebrating their 15th birthday with a week of amazing deals and shenanigans. Woot.com, that's WOOT.com, offers deep discounts on electronics, computers, home, tools, sporting goods, and even unique made-to-order t-shirts. Kent Stewart, CEO.
In honor of our 15th birthday, Woot is offering deals the entire week. But the big celebration is on Friday, July 12th with an epic 15-hour Woot off with deals every 30 minutes plus 15,000 of our famous bags of crap that offer a random collection of stuff for just $10.
And Wooters with Amazon Prime get free shipping by connecting their Amazon account to their Woot account. Visit Woot.com, that's WOOT.com, or download the Woot app for your best chance to score the best deals ever.
Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average, a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-274-9490. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-274-9490. That's 800-274-9490. 800-274-9490.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-985-1813 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-985-1813 now. Again, that's 800-985-1813. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-RADIO-US, 844-723-4687. The classic way you destroy a republic. What you do is you render citizenship irrelevant, and then you steal all the money. We're $25 trillion in debt. And that is a bipartisan project, because when it comes to spending money and running the American government and the American people out of money, that's a bipartisan issue. Those people that call for bipartisanship, take a look at that $25 trillion price tag that we're going to have to pay, that our children are going to have to pay, that our grandchildren are going to have to pay. And look at the fact that they're now arguing about raising the debt limit yet again. Remember that whenever we, the people of the United States, say, quit spending all of our money, the first thing they cut is defense, scaring the living hell out of us as we're in a position where, gosh, you know what? We went for almost 10 years without giving the military enough money to fight with. You add that with this ridiculous idea that the most important thing we can do in the United States of America is leave our southern border wide open. 300 people every single day just walk right through. On video. That's not how many people walk right through. That's just how many people they have on video in one location. 300 every day. It's still open. The president is trying to close it. It's being stopped by the government. Well, wait a minute. You're talking about those evil Democrats. I know you've been talking about, yeah, well, okay. Well, how come the Republicans aren't standing up to close the border either? Why aren't they doing something? You want something done. I want something done. Why doesn't the government want something done? Well, because they're trying to change the country. Why? Well, because it's not enough power. There's not enough power for these politicians. They need more. Again, if you disagree, please explain it. Who are the protagonists in this? Well, let's see. One of them was Paul Ryan. President Trump lashed out at him last night following excerpts from an upcoming book that were published by in which the former Speaker of the House criticized him for not knowing anything about government. Well, let me dwell on that for just a couple of minutes. Paul Ryan saying that President Trump doesn't know anything about government. Paul Ryan could be talking about anybody under the age of 35 years old because the socialists have been taking care of our public schooling for all those years. Nobody under 35 knows anything about the government either. Was Paul Ryan a part of that particular decision-making process? Yes, he was. So to sit there and say that people don't know anything about government is demagoguery. The president said Paul Ryan, the failed vice presidential candidate and former Speaker of the House, whose record of achievement was atrocious, except during my first years as president, not even that, sir, ultimately became a long-running lame duck failure, leaving the party in the lurch both as a fundraiser and as a leader. When Mitt Romney chose Paul, I told people that's the end of that presidential run. He quit Congress because he didn't know how to win. They gave me a standing ovation in the great state of Wisconsin and booed him off the stage. He promised me the wall and failed. It's happening anyway. Can't happen fast enough, Mr. President. You need to kick some people in the butt down there and get some more wall built. ASAP. The people of the United States are behind you. You're fighting the government, Republicans, and Democrats. I know how hard it is. Keep after it, please. And stop minimizing the value of American citizenship. You're going to have to do something with that national survey that goes out every single year. You're going to have to double or triple the number of people that are asked to respond to that. You're going to have to do that, Mr. President. That's how you fix this. Double, triple, quadruple, quintuple the number of people that answer that survey. The president said we couldn't get Paul Ryan out of the Congress fast enough. That's right. Republicans do nothing. Democrats do whatever they want. We, the people of the United States, have a $25 trillion debt. Another raise of the debt limit coming up. And now our citizenship means nothing. I realize you're sitting here going, well, wait a minute, what about all this other stuff? What about all these other things? Well, I got to tell you this. None of that matters. I know we're ahead of the game. We're usually about 2 years ahead, but this is going to be a huge issue after the 2020 election, when it's probably a little bit too late. Wake up. I'm here telling you about it on the Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
It is a horrible scenario, but it happens. Dennis writes about his wife. She was diagnosed with leukemia. In fact, she's a 2-time survivor, and in the midst of all that, they ran up over $1 million in medical bills. Thankfully, They're Medi-Share members, and Dennis says they are so thankful for that, how others came together to meet their needs. And that's how so many Medi-Share members feel. This is not health insurance. It's different. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in. And like Dennis found out, it just works. So if you join Medi-Share, not only do you save a lot of money, the typical family saves about $500 a month, but you know where your money's going each month. You're helping people, and if the time should come, they'll be helping and even praying for you. So yes, it's different, and as more than 400,000 people now know when it comes to healthcare costs, different is beautiful. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.